Good morning, MPC. Welcome sa weekly economic briefing. To introduce our guests, we have Finance Assistant Secretary Tony Lambino. Good morning, sir.
Morning and good morning. Welcome to the weekly economic briefing. Salamat po sa PCOO for co-hosting this event with the Economic Development Cluster. We are glad to report that we have successfully negotiated ODA loan financing for the Build program through 2018. The economic team adopted the fast and sure approach in successfully negotiating concessional financing for the Build program. For example, the Metro Manila Subway project is one of the softest loans we have ever negotiated. The 104.53 billion yen or 935 million US dollar loan agreement for the first tranche carries an interest rate of 10 basis points or 0.1% per annum for non-consulting services and 1 basis point per annum or 0.01% for consulting services. Payable in 40 years inclusive of a 12-year grace period. Ang kakulangan sa infrastruktura ang isa sa pinakamahalagang pangangailangan natin upang makahikayat ng mga investor sa bansa. Pinapaganda nito ang koneksyon ng ating mga syudad at bayan upang mas maging madali ang daloy ng produkto at serbisyo at lumaganap ang pag-unlad sa loob at lalo na sa labas ng Metro Manila at iba pang mga metro areas. Nakakagawa din po ito ng mga hanap buhay para sa ating mga kababayan. Sa katunayan po, bahagi ng ating gustong ipamalita ay ang nalalapit na Jobs Fair na ibabahagi ng aking kasama mamayang kaunti. Para po bigyan pa tayo ng updates sa Build program at sa darating na Jobs Fair, please welcome the Build Committee Chairperson, Ana May Lamentillo.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Maraming salamat po sa pag-imbita. Next slide. The BBB Jobs Caravan is the government's immediate response for the would-be affected workers of Hanjin Heavy Industries and Construction Philippines, known as HHIC Philippines. The Jobs Caravan is scheduled on February 9, 2019 at the Subic Gymnasium. It will be participated by the BBB team, which is composed of Department of Finance, Department of Budget and Management, BCDA, DPWH, DOTR, NEDA, and DTI, Department of National Defense, pati po SBMA. Ngayon po, ang nakalagay po sa portal natin is at least 17,000 jobs. And we expect that at least 75 contractors will be participating po doon sa ating caravan this coming February 9, 2019. As a situationer po, yung Department of Labor and Employment, sinabi po nila na kung dati po 17,307 yung employed workers noong March 2018, it has decreased ngayon po by 3,745 po. So we expect that the Jobs Caravan will be able to provide jobs dun po sa mga displaced workers natin dito po sa closure. Nagkaroon na rin po kami ng profiling. So, as gathered by DOLE po, yung carpentry has the highest number of skilled workers at 1,801, or it represents yung 65% po ng displaced workers. Followed by yung ating mga welders at 661 or 24%. And yun pong may mga computer skills at 180 or about 6%. Ongoing pa po ang profiling, and we are also conducting pre-registration now for all the affected employees, but we'd also like to invite the public to participate dun po sa ating Jobs Caravan sa February 9, 2019. Next slide. We'd also like to give you an update on BBB. So, on the average, yung PASIX administration were able to spend 2.6% of the GDP. And now, on the first year of the Duterte administration, it's now at 5.4% po. Next slide. Ito po yung trajectory po natin. Ito po yung infrastructure spending of the previous administration in comparison with the infrastructure spending of the current administration. Kung makikita nyo po, meron po tayong upward trajectory in terms of infra spending. And I think unti-unti po mararamdaman na po ng mga tao yung mga pagbabago doon sa ating traffic decongestion program. So malapit na po magbukas yung ating mga key infrastructure na mamaya po ipapakita po namin. Next. Next. This is po yung overall accomplishment of the DPWH, pero ito po ay as of June 2018. Kung makikita nyo po, meron na po tayong 1,908 kilometers na na-widen, 1,316 kilometers po ng access roads na improved, at 393 kilometers of missing gaps na kompleto. So we've also constructed 328 kilometers of bypasses. Ito po yung statistics po natin in terms of accomplishments sa bridges. So 511 bridges na widened, 204 replaced, 127 new bridges, 939 po na bridges na rehabilitate, and then we've also strengthened 642 bridges. We expect the new data to come in by January 2019, by the last quarter of 2019, and we expect yung Secretary Mark Villar to reiterate po yung accomplishments for the in terms of road connectivity. Next slide. Ito po yung breakdown po. Next slide. Next slide. So kung makita nyo po, it's not just in NCR. Makita nyo po na road infrastructure is being done, or marami po tayong road development from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, at hindi po concentrated sa NCR yung ating pong construction of roads, bridges, and flood control projects. Next slide. So ito po ay samples po ng mga natapos na po na kalsada. So ito po yung sa CAR. Next slide. We have one in Region 1. Ito po yung Lawag City Bypass. Next slide. We have Region 2. Ito po yung Kabagan Santa Maria Bridge. Next slide. So lahat po ng ito gawa na po. So nararamdaman na po yung BBB nationwide. Ito po yung Sariaya Bypass Road for Region 4A. Next slide. Yung Region 4B po, ito po yung Lisap Bridge. Next slide. And ito po yung accomplishments natin po in terms of bridges. Next slide. Next slide. So kung makikita nyo po, we're also, meron din po tayong collaboration with DepEd in terms of building classrooms and other infrastructure. So, next slide. Next slide. So, as of June 2018 po, we have built 22,133 classrooms. At ang ongoing construction po natin is at 81,630 classrooms. Umpisa na rin po, we've developed a plan for the regional evacuation centers, and a total of 4.98 billion has been allocated from 2016 to 2018. So as of December 2018 po yan, 10 evacuation centers were already completed. 98 evacuation centers are ongoing, while yung remaining na 29 po are under pre-construction activities. Next slide. Next slide. Ito po yung, we also have, as part of DPWH, ang ating flood management program. Next slide. Ongoing na po yung ating Pasig Marikina River Channel Improvement Phase 3. a substantial portion has already been completed. Ito po yung in partnership natin with the Japanese government, and it is expected to decrease flood inundation by 18% and flood damages by 14.3 billion. We're also doing flood risk management projects for Cagayan, Tagaloan, and Imus River po. It is expected to be completed by 2019. In terms of land transport, we're trying to expand yung atin pong road network. So, ito po, tapos na rin po natin yung Lisap Bridge in Oriental Mindoro. Next. The Davao River Bridge. Next. Governor Miranda Bridge in Davao del Norte. Next. We also have the Philippine High Standard Highway Network, which is, we want to add an additional 1,101.15 kilometers, or a total of about, ang gagastusin po natin is about 551 billion pesos. So it is composed po of yung Luzon Spine Expressway Network. So balak po nating i-triple yung existing high standard highway network po natin ngayon. We are also doing the plan for the Cebu High Standard Highway Network and the Davao High Standard Highway Network. Next. So ito po yung composition of the Luzon Spine Expressway Network. Kung mapapansin nyo po, marami na po tayong substantial accomplishments in terms of the infrastructure projects since the term of the administration started. Next. Yung TPLEX po, yung full alignment po niya will be opened within the year po. Next. Yung Central Luzon Link Expressway po will be opened in 2020. And ngayon po, it's at 25%. Next. Yung Plaridel Bypass Phase 2 natin, it's already been completed. And we're now doing yung Phase 3 po nitong project. Next. Yung NLEX Harbor Link po, we're very excited about this. Yung segment 10 po niya, connecting NLEX hanggang pong C3, will be open to the public very, very soon. So siguro po we can expect yung announcement of the date of the opening kay Secretary within the next few weeks. Pag natapos po yung alignment na po na yan, yung travel time po natin mula Manila hanggang Quezon City will just be reduced to 15 minutes. And ang pinakamaganda po dyan, it's an elevated highway, it's a new alignment, so hindi po yan nadadaanan before. And it will reduce yung traffic congestion by 30,000 vehicles, and these are mostly trucks. Yeah. So another project po is the Metro Manila Skyway Stage 3. We expect to finish kahit yung main alignment po by this year, baka by the last quarter of this year. And then yung mga succeeding ramps niya po by 2020. We also have yung NLEX SLEX Connector Road Project. This is an 8-kilometer expressway project which will connect C3 Road in Caloocan to PUP in Santa Mesa, and will connect to the common alignment of Skyway Stage 3. Pag natapos po itong project na to, yung travel time natin from SLEX to NLEX will be from 2 hours to 20 minutes. Yung travel time po mula Alabang, for example, hanggang Quezon City will be reduced to 20 minutes. Yung NAIA-X Phase 2 po is already completed. May proposal of extending it to NAIA Phase 3. Next. Ito pong C6, Southeast Metro Manila Expressway, or C6. Next. We also have the Cavite Laguna Expressway. Yung ating pong first exit will be open within the year din po. Next. SLEX TR4, ito pong infrastructure project, nag-groundbreak po siya 5 beses. And this is the first time na magkakaroon po ng actual construction in SLEX TR4. And then ito po, another expressway that's part of the Luzon Spine is the Quezon Bicol Expressway. Ito pong Laguna Highway, completed na po siya, and within the next quarter, mabubuksan na rin po natin yung full alignment ng bicycle lanes. So this will be the first national highway with equipped with bicycle lanes. Ito po, another expressway is yung Metro Cebu Expressway, which is a high standard arterial road from Naga City and which will end at Danao. So it will reduce yung travel time from Danao to Naga City from 3 hours to 1 hour and 25. Next. We also have the Bacolod Economic Highway. Ito po, magkakaroon din po ng bicycle lanes. Next. We also have the Davao City Coastal Road. It will also have bicycle lanes. So, kung makikita niyo po, priority natin to also develop yung pedestrian infrastructure natin nationwide para po hindi patintero yung ating mga pedestrian sa mga kotse sa kalye. And then, ito po yung Davao City Bypass Road. This is another project. Next. Ginagawa din po natin yung Mindanao Road Development Network and we intend to finish it by 2023. So, it will add 2,600 kilometers of road network in Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, Southern Mindanao, Central Mindanao, and Caraga region. Next. This is the Metro Manila Logistics Network. So, we intend to add 13 more bridges across Pasig River, Marikina River, and Mangahan Floodway. Next. So, ito po, ongoing na po yung construction ng BGC Ortigas Center Link Road Bridge. We expect to finish it by 2020. Next. Ito na po yung aerial shot of the construction. Next. We also have the Binondo Intramuros Bridge. Next. We also have the Estrella Pantaleon Bridge. Next. And we're also doing yung Metro Manila Priority Bridges Seismic Improvement Project, which will ensure the safety of about 365,000 motorists who uses the Guadalupe Bridge and the 30,257 motorists that passes the Lambingan Bridge every day. Most po kasi ng mga bridges natin is matagal na po silang ginawa, so we have to make sure na they're ready for the big one. Next. And this is one of the, malapit na po matapos. This is yung Inter-Island Linkage Mega Bridge Project. The idea is to connect Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao via land travel. Next. And we're very happy to report na nag-groundbreak na po tayo sa Pangil Bay Bridge, which is the first bridge that is part of this network. Next. Nung November 28 po, inumpisa na po yung groundbreaking for the Pangil Bay Bridge. Next. And then another one would be yung Panay Guimaras Negros Island Bridge Project. Next. Next. That is the end po of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Ana May, Sec. Tony Lambino. MPC questions? Pia?
Okay, Miss Anime. Ma'am, how did the budget impasse affect the big ticket projects of the administration of the Build program?
All systems go po yung build. So yung ating main projects po is kasama po doon sa proposed budget allocation na pinopose po ng DPWH, and we expect that all of these big ticket projects mararamdaman na po ng mga tao in the next few weeks. Sa katunayan nga po, yung NLEX Harbor Link, we will be able to open it in the next few weeks.
So wala pong effect?
All systems go po tayo.
All right. Also, ma'am, there's a proposal by Secretary Jokno to exempt certain projects or certain big ticket infrastructure projects from election spending ban. What's your thoughts about it? Do you think that it could help, itong exemption would help put the projects back on track, if ever?
Kami po, we defer to the guidance in terms of economic policies. We respect and we adhere to the policy provided for by DOF, DBM, and NEDA. So,
But do you think it would also help if some of these projects are exempted from the ban?
personally, yes, ma'am.
Why, ma'am?
Because yung para po tuloy-tuloy po, especially for big ticket projects na it cuts across na we want to observe the proper timeline. And of course, there are certain restrictions, bureaucratic restrictions that will delay the implementation. Pero po, para po sa amin, yung ating pong implementation is tuloy-tuloy. As sabi ko nga po, we support yung policies provided for by the DOF, by DBM, and by NEDA in terms of how they want to spend yung budget po.
Asik Lambino, what are the thoughts of the Department of Finance on this proposal, sir?
Well, the delay in the approval of the budget, nasabi po ni Secretary Dominguez that there's around 46 billion pesos or 500 million pesos a day that is not circulating because of it. So the delay is affecting our numbers a bit. Hopefully, the budget will be passed as soon as possible. The estimate is by the middle of February. And then that means if it's passed by the middle of February, we'll be implementing the new budget sometime in March. The exemption for big infrastructure projects would be welcome. Of course, we also, as Anna May said, follow the guidance of Secretary Jokno when it comes to the budget implementation. I'm sure he's looked at this very closely. And in terms of the impact on GDP, if I may share that as well, Secretary Pernia has said that the effect for the full year of a reenacted budget, and this is a full year estimate, is 1 to 2.3% of GDP. So we just divide that by 4 to see what, to estimate what first quarter impact might be on our GDP growth. So we're looking at some 0.25 at least percent reduction, percentage point reduction in our GDP growth.
So, another question, patanong lang ng office. Government kasi recently slapped a levy on imported cement. So the local cement makers hailed it as safeguarding the industry. So question is there really enough local supply that can meet the demand for build, ma'am? And
Wala naman po kaming nababalitaan that there is scarcity of cement. And again, we defer to the management of the economic team and of DTI in ensuring that this on the particular policies that are being put forward.
the question is also why impose a tax on imported cement when we're importing most of the stuff to get on with the BBB? And the levy kasi is 8 pesos and 40 centavos per bag. How was that arrived at? And what will it mean for especially for DIY consumers in the C&D markets who need bags of cement to remodel or make their homes?
We'll get back to you on that. Now, let me check in with the relevant offices that did the computations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pia. Tina, Ina, Bombo Raymond, Chona, and RJ. Okay. Si Tina muna.
Sana ba? Good afternoon po to ASEC Lambino. Can you please explain further yung proposal on of Secretary Jokno on the exemption on big ticket items? And number 2, to both of you po, kung there's a delay in the approval of the budget and we're in the enacted budget and you expect the constructions of these projects to start by March, and we have an election ban, how will this affect the entire build program of the government?
Sa pagkakaintindi ko po, yun po yung gustong iwasan ni Secretary Joc, no, na madelay ng matagal ang ang pag-umpisa ng mga proyekto. Dahil kung kasama naman po siya sa 2018 budget, ay pwede naman hong ituloy kung hindi pa po tapos. Pero kung bago po siya na proyekto na uumpisahan ngayong first quarter ng 2019, and as we know, the first quarter is the best time of the year to start construction project. dahil po sa kombinasyon ng reenacted budget for the first quarter at saka ng election ban, ay we're looking at a delay in the start by at least 6 months. Yan po yung narinig ko dati kay Secretary Jokno. So yun po yung gusto nating iwasan dun po sa paghingi ng exemption.
The policy on the exemption will be on the burden of the executive, on the shoulders of the executive branch. Will it not be in contrast to the implementation of the election laws?
Sa pagkakaalam ko po, yung request ay hiningi sa Kongreso. Kasi sila po yung makakapag-approve niyan sa GAA. So it's a request that's been made to Congress for the in the passage of the 2019 budget.
So there will be a special provision sa GAA 2019 regarding the exemption. Do you expect that to materialize?
Sa pagkakaintindi ko po, ganun yung request pero i-confirm po natin and we'll get back to you.
To Ma'am Annalyn, how would you assure the people that the government's Build 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 program will not be used in the campaign, especially of the administration candidates?
Marami pong transparency efforts po na ginagawa po ngayon sa DPWH. Number one po, meron po tayong infra-track system. So what it does is meron na po tayong central monitoring in terms of slippages doon po sa ating central office. So nakikita na po natin kailan po nagsimula yung project, kailan po natapos, meron po bang delay. Automatically po, dahil automated na po tayo, the moment na meron pong 15% delay yung projects, yung mga contractor po of those projects, hindi na po sila allowed to bid on any project nationwide. So, isa po yun sa mga bagong policies na pinatupad ngayon. Pangalawa po, lagi po kaming tinatanong kung paano po namin linalabanan yung ghost projects. We're happy to report that by 2019, wala na po tayong ghost projects because we've fully adhered po doon sa, at meron na po tayong geographic identification system. With the geographic identification system, ipinaplot na po yung mga photos on the exact geographic location kung saan po siya kinuha. Kung kaya po, kung kunwari, nag-submit ng photos na hindi po angkop or hindi tugma doon sa infrastructure project na meron po sa amin, magkakaroon po kagad ng mismatch.
Just one quick follow-up. Ma'am,
Yes,
I think you mentioned yung transparency and anti-corruption measures. What I'm asking about is how would the DPWH or the administration protect tong build from being used by candidates, yung makisakay sila sa build program?
Katulad po yung BBB naman po, it's really a nationwide initiative. So hindi naman we do not politicize po yung infrastructure projects. In fact, kung makita niyo po yung presentation po namin, it's based on a lot of master plans, especially po yung BBB projects. Yung Luzon Spine Expressway, meron pong science na ginamit in order to determine which project needs to be included doon po sa ating program. So, for example, if ma-implement po natin in its totality yung Luzon Spine Expressway, yung travel time po mula Manila hanggang Ilocos will be half by 50%. So, again, we do not want to politicize the measure. In fact, we're completing projects 40 years ago pa po ginawa. So, may yung Mindanao Avenue Extension which was started during the 1980s. Hanggang ngayon po, kami po yung nagtuloy po ng mga project po na ito.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Tina. Ina, then Bombo Raymond. After Raymond, Chona, and Alexis.
For Miss Anna, you mentioned earlier na malapit na po maramdaman yung pag-ease ng traffic. Are you referring to Metro Manila and by when? And ano po yung projects that yung sinasabi niyong magbubukas na po soon that will result in the decongestion?
Unang-una po nga po yung NLEX Harbor Link Project, malapit na po yung mabuksan. Yung bicycle lanes po natin sa Laguna Lake Expressway, mabubuksan na rin po by this year. Tapos po, yung Laguna Lake Highway po, it's a new alignment that was already opened. Na-open na rin po yung Napindan and yung Barkadahan Bridge. Apart from that po, meron po pong Mindanao Avenue Extension na pwede na pong baka mabuksan din by this year, second quarter of this year. So, marami pong projects na inaabangan po natin na magbukas by this year. Including po pati yung Skyway Stage 3, hopefully.
So when can we expect, or by what month, if you have an idea, an estimate, can we expect specifically yung traffic sa EDSA to clear up?
Siguro mabigat po yung clear. Pero po, when by substantial traffic po is mawawala. I think maumpisang maramdaman by this year, sir. Ay, ma'am. Yung Harbor Link po will be opened by the first quarter of this year, as previously announced by Secretary Mark Villar.
And then about the budget, ma'am, what big ticket items are in the pending 2019 budget, and which of, if you can mention po, yung for implementation dapat in the first quarter?
Siguro po, as to the details, may mga, katulad nga po ng sabi ni Asik Tony, yung mga local projects po na bago, hindi po talaga namin siya. But for PPP projects, for example, and yung mga big tickets, lalo na yung may mga provision for right-of-way already, nai-implement naman po. For example, makakapagbukas din po kami ng C5 South Link very soon.
No, I mean for those in the 2019 proposed budget, ma'am, because I'm wondering how you can say that it's all systems go when there, I assume, are projects supposedly for implementation in the first quarter, and again, we've yet to see its passage.
Yun ma'am. So yung mga projects kasi that was previously mentioned, kasama po siya doon sa previous budget allocation because these are projects that were already funded 2016 pa lang. So kung nagkaroon ng reenactment po, may budget allocation for the projects that was already previously implemented.
No, again, I'm asking about the 2019. How can you say that it's all systems go when the budget has yet to be passed, and I assume that budget includes some build projects for implementation in the first quarter? We're now entering February.
Yun nga po, may request po talaga kami na sana po mapasa yung batas. Pero dun po sa ginagalawan namin ngayon na status, we're doing everything we can to make sure that all these projects are being implemented efficiently. So kung ano po yung kaya naming ituloy within the legal parameters of the law, then yun po yung tinutuloy po namin.
Thank you, Ina. Isunod lang natin after kay Alexis, nagtaas yata ng kamay si RJ, pagkatapos si Dreo. Okay? Si Bombo muna. Bombo Raymond, then Chona.
Just to press lang kay Miss Aname yung big ticket projects na nasa pipeline by 2019. Just to be specifics, may we know yung mga pinakamalaking project na hindi mo na ma-implement and what percentage of delay yung maramdaman or cause of delay kapag hindi pa naipatupad sooner or later yung national budget for 2019?
As to the specifics, sir, I would have to check. Wala po akong records na dala po today. Pero po yung for projects na katulad nga po na sinabi, yung NLEX Harbor Link na meron na pong previous appropriation, tuloy-tuloy lang po because meron po silang appropriation for right of way.
So you mentioned na yung mga napunduhan na previously, can you actually use the 2018 budget to continue the project?
Yes.
For
What if kung nagamit na yung 2018 budget na na-allocate for 2018, saan mo kukunin yung budget?
Doon po sa reenacted amount for 2019.
So
Kasi
you-
po, hindi naman ho balanse lang nung 2018. Ibig sabihin, naulit po yung pag-enact nung budget allocation in 2019 for the period na reenacted budget po tayo.
Pero
So fresh resources po yun. Hindi po yun yung tira nung 2018.
Oh, fresh budget pero the same project Hindi pa parang redundant na same usage of the same
Kung
allocation?
redundant lang po kung tapos na. Kung tapos na po yung project, edi hindi ho gagalaw yung pondo. Pero
Paano
kung hindi pa po tapos, at tulad po ng sinabi ni Ma'am Ana May, most of these projects are ongoing. Tumatawid po ng taon from 2018 to 2019. Ongoing po yung pagpapatayo at ng construction. Edi tumatawid din po yung resources, yung resource allocation dahil po sa reenacted budget.
Sir, yung scenario na paano kung nagamit niya, and di ba pagka by year end, automatic binabalik natin yung mga savings sa National Treasury. So how would be the process na magagamit ulit natin yung budget na yun?
Hindi, parang starting fresh ho tayo sa January 1, 2019 dahil hindi naman ho base dun sa ginastos ng 2018. It's just the allocation that was made in 2018. Nauulit po sa 2019. So kung meron pong available allocation from the previous year, ay nauulit lang po yung allocation na yon sa 2019. Kaya po, meron pong pondo para ituloy yung pag-implement ng project. Fresh po yun. Hindi po yun yung tira from 2018. They're fresh resources.
Kay Ms. Ana, may din yung 75 billion na, suspected, alleged as to be an insertion. Kumusta na po yun dun sa latest bicameral conference committee? So, willing kayo na you give up yung 75 billion at allocate dun sa different other agencies?
Sabi nga po namin, yung Congress po has the power of the purse. So they have the power to decide which projects are budgeted. Kami po as an agency, as an implementing office, recommendatory lang po kami. We recommend kung ano po yung projects na gusto naming pondohan. Tapos kung subsequently po mag-decide ang Senate, ang Congress, sila pa rin po ang magde-decide which projects will be funded and implemented.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat, Bombo. Jonah, then Alexis.
Other topic, sir. Sir, sa economic team, how are you going to hit the GDP growth target for the first quarter of the year if the government is operating under a re-elected budget? You said a while ago na 500 million pesos a day yung is not circulating na money.
Relative to expectation. No? Ang estimate po natin based on the numbers NEDA has shared ay may effect po yan na at least 0.25 percentage points of GDP growth. At the same time, the economic team has stated that 7% is still the fighting target. Now, that being said, growth above 6%, which we experienced in 2018, no? 6.2 po no, ang ating growth for 2018. That places us among the fastest growing major economies in the fastest growing region of the world. That means we are still doing very well. And of course, a target is a target. No? We really want to reach that. The facts are the facts as well. 6.2% places us among the best performing economies in the fastest growing region of the world. And that's something to be very proud of.
Follow up, Jonah. Satisfied na. Okay na. Alexis, then RJ, pagkatapos si Dreo.
Asek Tony or Miss Ana May, of course, we are expecting a surge in demand in construction because of the build. But do we have enough qualified Filipino construction workers? Because, Presidential spokesman Panelo said, we lack qualified, skilled Filipino construction workers.
Siguro po kailangan i-qualify po yan. Ngayon po kasi for the big ticket projects, ito po yung mga projects na hindi pa po nagagawa sa Pilipinas. For example, ito pong mga inter-island bridges natin and we're using new technology. If we're using new technology at wala po yung specialized skill required to operate, for example, the machines para po mapabilis yung construction, then may lack po talaga tayo of those specialized skills. So, parang ang nangyayari po because these are methods that we want to learn sana, kaya po tayo kumukuha ng mga skilled workers from abroad. But for example, in terms of labor force ngayon po, okay naman po. And we're doing the jobs specifically for this, to bridge the gap between yung ating mga Filipino contractors and yung Filipino laborers. So parang ang iniisip po sana namin, sana po alam nung mga naghahanap po ng trabaho kung saan po sila pwedeng maghanap ng trabaho.
Pero yung mga non-specialized, yung mga projects, yung mga usual lang na infrastructure projects, yung mga hindi naman nangangailangan ng specialized skills, yung mga ibang skills like carpentry na kaya naman ng Filipino, do we have enough manpower for that?
I think so po. For example, ito nga pong Hanjin, tapos natutuwa nga po kami na may mga OFW po na nakakabalik na po ng bansa natin para po dito makapagtrabaho. So, the last jobs caravan, ito po yung mga pinauwi galing Saudi Arabia. At dito po sila nakahanap ng bagong trabaho sa build.
So hindi tayo kulang ng qualified Filipino construction workers for the build. Hindi tayo kulang nun.
Yes, sir.
So there is an assurance that these build projects, ang magbe-benefit nito Filipino workers.
Opo, and the statistics from the Department of Labor actually shows that. In fact po, noong July 2017, kung ang employment rate po natin is 94.4%, ngayon po by July 2018 of last year, nag-increase po tayo to 94.6%. So, mas marami po yung, tumaas po yung ating employment rate.
Kasi may mga concerns about the influx of Chinese workers. Hindi naman sila yung makikinabang dito sa build projects. Doon sa, in terms of labor.
Hindi naman, sir. Hindi
Okay.
naman po, sir.
Thank you, Sec.
Salamat, Alexis.
But also, no, if I
Yes,
may,
Asik,
no,
please.
if we're spending 50 billion or more, and those are the official numbers, 50 billion or more per month on infrastructure, that means around 30% can be assumed to be wage expense, no? Sweldo ng ating mga construction workers, ng mga engineers, etc. So that's 15 billion pesos in additional income for the Filipino worker. At yan po ay ang nagastos natin per month in 2018. Mas mataas pa po sa 50 billion yung last number. It was above 60 billion a month actually.
Thank you, Asik.
Thank you, Sec.
Thank you, Alexis. RJ, please.
Ma'am, follow-up lang po. Even if it's a Chinese ODA-funded project, we will not be hiring Chinese workers.
Hindi po. Meron po sila, but these are for specialized skilled workers. Pero hindi po siya yung priority pa rin po natin would be yung mga Filipino construction.
And of course, not construction workers.
Opo.
Sir, do we have specific MOUs or MOAs with foreign countries pertaining to this that we can hire? That we should be hiring foreign workers
I have
for
to get
these
back to you on
projects?
the details. Ang alam ko wala tayong ganun. As mentioned by Anna May, there are some areas, for instance, for the Metro Manila subway, Japanese expertise will be brought in for that, no? Kasi sanay sila mag-build ng mga subways, no? Tayo hindi pa masyado. It will be the first subway in the Philippines. Ang anecdotal evidence po, which is not official data, nakausap po namin yung mga construction companies, constructors associations sa Davao, sa National Association as well. Ang sabi po nila, talagang tumataas na po ang mga sweldo ng mga construction workers at ibang mga construction-related jobs dahil in demand talaga ang ating mga workers and engineers and the like. So that is a good thing for the Filipino worker, no? That there is strong demand for their skills and their expertise at tumataas na po ang mga sweldo in this sector.
So this should not be a concern, really, because there are concerns among netizens, the public, that they see a lot of Chinese people working here, especially in construction companies.
Wala po akong data on that. We will check with the Department of Labor and Employment so that we have official data.
Ma'am, DPWH, did it follow the timeline for all the BBB projects? I think you mentioned this already. I just would like to clarify something.
All systems go nga po. Siguro may mga konting bottlenecks lang po. But I think we've resolved po yung mga causes niya. For example, meron po tayong ginawang mga right-of-way reforms in terms of how we handle right-of-way processes. So kung dati po, centralized po sa central office yung decisions on right-of-way acquisitions, ngayon po meron ng delegated authority yung ating mga implementing offices. Meron na rin po tayong interagency group and meron na rin po tayo, for example, yung paglipat po ng mga electrical poles, meron na po tayo niyan. We also have an interagency group with DNR to yung parang po sa paglilipat naman po ng mga puno. So marami po tayong in-implement on si Secretary Mark on the policy level para po mapabilis at ma-expedite po yung right-of-way process acquisition na nagiging source po of delays in a lot of projects.
So why is that so, ma'am? How did you come up with that kind of solution?
Tiningnan po kasi namin. So, tiningnan po isa-isa kung ano po yung nagiging problema doon po sa mga projects. Tapos po, nakita po na, kunwari, yung isang abogado, multiple projects po yung hinahawakan niya. So, hindi siya makapagbigay ng 100% attention, for example. Wala pong legal offices, yung mga regional offices ng DPWH before. But now with the new, dun po sa mga reforms na ginawa natin, naglagay na po tayo ng legal office per region to facilitate po itong mga right-of-way acquisitions processes. Tapos po, nagkaroon nga po tayo ng mga interagency groups coming with different agencies para po mapabilis yung paglipat po ng mga electrical poles.
Thank you. Sir, what could be the impact of delayed implementation of projects on the GDP target?
Ang estimate po na binigay ng NEDA recently is anywhere from 1 percentage point to 2.3 percentage points for a full year reenacted budget. Which means for the first quarter, we can just divide that by 4 for a rough estimate on the impact on GDP growth. So
But-
at least 0.25%.
And we are
Percentage
optimistic
points.
that we will be able to achieve the target despite we have this record of delayed implementation of projects.
Well, as I mentioned, according to Secretary Dominguez, we are holding on to 7% as our fighting target. That being said, no, we are still growing at a level that we should be very proud of. No? The Philippines is growing at a level that puts us among the best performing economies.
Sir, what are some risks if a project is ODA funded?
Well, the negotiations have gone very well. The terms of the ODA are negotiated very much with the Philippine side's interests in mind. So, for instance, what I shared earlier, for the Japanese, several Japanese ODA finance projects, the terms are 40 years, inclusive of 12-year, a 12-year grace period, and 0.1% interest rate for non-consulting services and 0.01% interest rate for consulting services. Again, no, payable in 40 years with a 12-year grace period. So those are the kinds of terms that we are negotiating, and please be assured that these are better terms than what we would have gotten in the private markets.
Kasi in the
These
past,
are concession. These are
Yeah.
deep concessional terms.
kasi there were projects in the past, especially during the term of former President Arroyo, like the ZTE deal that was ODA. So how can we assure this time that this will be different, this will be free from corruption? You already mentioned that, but how is it going to be different this time?
Well, the terms are definitely the best that we've seen, no? Negotiated on behalf of the Filipino people, we are deeply aware that these are loans that should bring more social benefit than the cost of the financing. No? Malinaw naman yun eh. Ang ating investment coordinating committee ay minimum po 10% dapat ang return. And then the cost of financing ay nasa 2% or less. So lamang na lamang po ang social benefit laban po doon sa cost of the financing, no, doon sa interest. Kaya ganun po, no, we have to make sure that the social benefit, the economic internal rate of return of any project is far better than the interest rates that we negotiate.
And of course, sir, it's normal to think that loans will further increase during the term of President Duterte. Yeah. Is that still healthy? Is that still all right?
Opo, ang debt to GDP ratio po natin is at around 42%. It was there last year, and it's the estimate is more or less the same for this year. By 2022, bababa pa po yung debt to GDP ratio natin to around 38 to 38.5%, which means we are well below the global average. So we are managing our debt very well. Just for everyone's information, also by 2022, ang expectation po talaga natin ay total project debt to China will be, if I'm not mistaken, sorry, I'm looking for the actual numbers. Total project debt to China will be at around 4.5% of total debt by 2022. Total project debt to Japan will be at 9.5% by 2022. And within a regime of a reducing debt to GDP ratio. So in terms of debt management, we're doing very, very well. If you look at the performance of our bonds, global bonds, samurai bonds, panda bonds, the spreads are very tight, which means people are showing confidence in the way the economy is being managed. In addition to that, we have maintained our our investment grade rating, which also means for the private sector, debt is also cheaper. Financing is also cheaper. So overall, the debt part of the economic management equation, we're doing very well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, RJ. Dreo, after Dreo, basa lang tayo ng isang Viber question, then Cedric. Okay. Dreo, please.
For Anime, reiteration lang to actually ng mga questions kanina. So, can you please quantify how many road projects have been stalled because of the delay in the passage of the budget? So, how, maybe in kilometers or...
To be honest, medyo mahihirapan po kami because now we don't even have an approved budget yet, and it would be preemptive kung magsasalita po
So,
kami
exactly.
as to what road projects will be.
Alin nga doon yung hindi tumatakbo dahil wala kayong budget? Ilan at alin? We just want the scope of the impact of the budget delay on your...
Again, no, this will have to be projects that were slated to start in the beginning of the year. So I think we'll need to get back to you on that list. Kasi kung tuloy naman ang construction and nag-umpisa before 2019, and a lot of projects are like that. When we look at DPWH's list of projects, these are in the thousands all over the country. No, yung build, yan yung 75 flagship na madalas pag-usapan, but at the same time, there are thousands of projects that are ongoing all over the country. Basta ongoing yan, at napondohan ng 2018, ay tuloy naman po ang implementation at ang construction ngayong first quarter ng 2019.
And
But
also,
we need to get back to you on the actual numbers.
yes, kahit
so
yung
we can
share
ask.
lang of the total road projects, parang so and so percent of the... Tapos, so of course, if an exemption will be sought by by the economic team, the DPWH will also have to identify which projects they will want to exempt from the election ban. So, top of the mind, ano yung mga proyekto na umaandar na dapat magpatuloy yung pag-andar kahit na may election ban? So, I think yun din yung question kanina na we wanted.
Yeah, siguro po, if it's okay, we will give you the full report next time.
Bigay na lang ho namin sa partners namin sa PCOO para ibahagi po sa inyo.
Because I think the public also has to know this because sila yung makikinabang, sila yung maapektuhan if magsa-stop yung projects. Tapos, ano pa ba yung isa? Yung 75 billion na insertion na balak ano ba tawag doon? I-reallocate ng Congress. Ano yung magiging impact nito sa DPWH? I know you don't want to impose on them on what to do, but what will be the impact on the projects? This is a big amount, 75 billion. So ano yung mawawala ng pondo? Alin yung titigil? Maybe if we can provide that.
Again, we will defer and siguro po we will submit the list because these are projects that
Okay. Sige
that
po.
are numerous.
Ibang topic na lang. So, kay Asek Lambino, the tax packages have already advanced in the House of Representatives. So, what do you think will be the prospects of these packages before the elections and after the elections?
We are very hopeful for package 2 plus. Of course, we see the comprehensive tax reform program as all of the packages together. But what we have seen is the president has agreed to certify as urgent the substitute bill that comes out of the Senate. The committee report that comes out of the Senate on alcohol and tobacco excise tax increases to fund universal health care fully in 2019. Meron na pong allocation sa proposed budget of around 217 billion pesos to implement universal healthcare. Ang financing gap na lang po dyan ay mga 40 billion. At yan po ay gusto natin talagang matulay, to bridge the financing gap through package 2 plus of the Comprehensive Tax Reform Program. Kahapon po, nagka-hearing, many doctors spoke up on behalf and in support of the program, of the proposal. At meron pong nakaschedule po na susunod na hearing already. So, umaandar po yung legislative process. And of course, we are here to support our legislators in any information and analysis they need. Ang champions po natin dyan, sina Senator Pacquiao, Senator Ejercito, tsaka si Senator Gatchalian.
So, which of these packages do you see being passed before the elections, given that they have to go on campaign mode, and which will have to wait after the elections?
Well, we're open and we're open to whatever package moves forward. Minsan kasi nagugulat kami na biglang umaandar ang isang package o ang dalawa na sabay. Nangyari na rin po yon, ang package 3 at saka 4, sabay gumalaw. So we're available for whatever support and analytical needs the legislators may have. Although based on our own assessment, sa ngayon, based on how things are moving, mukhang pwede po talagang mapasa yung package 2 plus. Yung iba, maaring umandar, although we're also open to refiling the other packages in the next Congress.
So, last on my part, the tax amnesty bill is already on the president's desk. So, have you heard anything from the presidential office on the status of this bill?
We were told it's being reviewed by the office of the president.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Drayo. Last question na tayo kay Cedric, pero bago kay Cedric, basa lang tayo ng Viber question. From Prince Goles for Miss Ana May. You earlier mentioned about the Panay Negros Guimaras project. As early as 2016, Secretary Villar said the DPWH was already studying the feasibility of proposed inter-island linkage. Any update on the progress of the project? kailan uumpisa ng construction nito?
Ngayon po, nasa feasibility stages pa lang po tayo. So, in terms of, tapos na po tayo sa pre-feasibility, we're going to feasibility study now. Medyo matagal po yung proseso because we want to ensure that the technical specifications are correct. So, you can be assured na within the next maybe 2 years, magsa-start na po yung construction ng Panay Guimaras.
Thank you po, ma'am. Last question, Cedric.
Sir, ma'am, not quite definite, but I think this is a new development kasi may proposal po, or Senate President Tito Soto will propose to Senator Loren Legarda to withdraw yung Senate version ng budget bill. And sabi niya kasi, and I quote, considering the numerous allegations being leveled at the 2019 budget, both from HOR and the Senate. Ang question ko, sir, ano ang pwede maging effect nito ng isang full year reenacted budget doon po sa build for 2019?
Ang alam po natin from a macro perspective, again, the estimate that NEDA shared is that a full year reenacted budget ay may impact po sa GDP growth natin of 1 to 2.3%. So yun po yung alam natin in terms of the analysis shared by NEDA. On the particulars, we'd have to go back, I think, to the list of projects and the timelines to see what the effect might
Yung sa
be on the...
implementation po.
Opo.
Kasi kanina parang pinag-uusapan natin is yung for the month of January lang eh.
First quarter po yung pinag-uusapan
First quarter.
natin kanina.
Opo. Pero kung full year reenacted budget po, do we expect months and months or maybe years of delay doon sa, particularly doon sa 75 flagship projects po?
We would have to check which projects were slated to start in 2019. Kasi yun po yung maapektuhan. Tulad ng nabanggit natin kanina, balikan po namin kayo on that list.
Thank you, Cedric. Maraming salamat, MPC. Maraming salamat, Miss Ana May Lamentilio and Asik Tony Lambino. Balik tayo sa Radyo Pilipinas at PTV.